Hey guys, it's Alan, the Fireman 1028, and today I'm back with our 2021 BMW R9T Scrambler. Now, I haven't done a lot with this bike here recently since we took it on the Smoky Mountain 500, but you know what we're going to do today? Is actually we're riding up to Team Charlotte Motorsports and going to see my buddy T Caldwell over at T's Euro Cycles, and we're actually doing some test rides over there and doing some ride reviews. But we're going to take our BMW up there, and this is going to be a commuting video on how the R9T Scrambler is as a commuter. So we've seen it off-road, we've seen the headlight test, we've seen some different stuff. So let's see how it does as a commuter. I already got my gloves on, so let's hop on the bike and let's go for a ride. Oh, I love that. I love that shaking. I like the sound too. Gear helps. Again, going from a dry clutch back to a wet clutch, back to a dry clutch, it takes some getting used to. So, like I said, this is our 2021 BMW R9T Scrambler, and you know, this bike we have for rent on Riders Share and Twisted Road. And actually, I was on the phone at 4 o'clock this morning with a gentleman from London who's actually coming over. His son works somewhere down in the Houston area, and his son's getting ready to go home. He's been on a work deployment. He's getting ready to go home, but he's spending the next month touring the country on a motorcycle. So his dad's wanting to come over and join him for 10 days in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. And he said, I've always seen the R9T Scramblers, but I've never really, I've heard of them, but I've never actually seen one in person. So he was really excited to see that, they are real bikes. He said, he can't find any of them in England, especially in London. So he was really excited to see that there was one available, and have it for rent at a pretty decent price. And he wants to rent it for 10 days. So I thought that was pretty cool. But his concern was, he was a little bit shorter, and I was like, man, I said this bike is perfect for that. He he's had tons of different bikes and everything, and been all over the world on a motorcycle, but wants to come tour the States with his son. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, like I said, the question we're hoping to answer today is, can you commute on a BMW R9T Scrambler? We already know that it looks awesome. This is probably one of the coolest looking bikes that I've ever had any experience with. From the color of the tank to the to the single-sided swing arm, to the Akrapovic exhaust, to the tubeless spoke wheels. This bike just is as cool as it can be. And actually, what's interesting is that the bike that I'm going to review today is actually what I would consider a competitor to this bike. So we're going to review a 2025 Moto Guzzi V7 Stone. Now, when you first think about price points, it really doesn't seem like it makes sense. But the angle I'm going at is that the R9T Scrambler on the used market is a direct competitor to a new V7 Stone with the price point that they come in at. So they're kind of taking it from a different angle, not just because when people shop bikes, they're not just shopping new bikes, they're shopping used bikes as well. So I look at that like a direct competitor, because if it was me looking at a V7 Stone at the $95,000 to $10,000 MSRP price range, I'm sure I'm looking at one of these too. I'm definitely looking at one of these. So that's kind of where we're sitting at with that. So, like I said, we got about 20 minutes on the interstate. It's a Saturday morning, so we shouldn't have a ton of traffic. So it should be. Oh, that's you. You're burning oil. I was like, man, I smell oil. That's you. It's the Corolla. So, like I said, we're going to have some interstate riding. We're going to have some, Freedom Drive in Charlotte. If you know anything about Charlotte, Freedom Drive can be a bit of a nutty ride. Shouldn't be too bad on a Saturday morning. But this will give us a good feeling of, how it feels on the interstate. Probably 30 minutes to get there. That'll kind of test out the seat for us and see how it feels, see how it handles wind. This will be really the first interstate riding since we put the pivot pegs on, and we don't have the the vibration dampeners on it to see if there's any vibration that we're dealing with. So it'd be kind of a cool thing to see here. So let's hop on the interstate and let's go pick up a bike to review. Now, with 1,183 cc's of displacement, power is really not an issue whatsoever. I mean, you've got plenty of power anywhere in the rev range that you need to be able to make a pass or merge safely onto the interstate. So, power is definitely not an issue. With the weight of the bike that it is, I mean, this bike weighs 483, 485 pounds. So it's definitely not a lightweight bike. Now, that being said, all the weight is down low with the cylinders and this big old jug sticking out the side. So all the weight is down low. So it rides. It really doesn't ride top heavy at all. It's a really smooth ride. The bike comes from the factory with the steering dampener. Hello, Mr. Motorcycle. That's a Bandit. Is it a Bandit 1200 or is that a Bandit 600? Comes from the factory with a steering dampener, so the steering is nice and smooth. No twitchiness, in the steering head. The bike does not give us a gear changer, gear indicator. Does not give us a fuel gauge. It doesn't give us a lot of the modern day features that we've come to expect from a motorcycle. But it does give you cruise control, so go figure. So we're going bam. Set our cruise control at a very legal speed. We're going to sit back and ride. So that's one of the benefits of having a motorcycle with cruise control is that, look, take that right hand, take it off, and just sit back and relax. Some people would argue that it makes you less aware of your surroundings. Others, and including myself, would argue that it makes you more aware of your surroundings. That you can sit there and you can focus and chomp little cars with your fingers. So obviously there's no wind protection on this bike. The Urban G/S comes with a little fairing, but I don't think it would actually do anything. So can you get a windscreen for these bikes? Yeah. Would it mess up the looks of this bike? Yeah. It's not even something I would consider. The bike does come with heated hand grips. Let's pop those on to the highest setting right now. Let's see how quick those get warm. Because if you commute, I mean, this is we're in mid-September now, 2025, and the weather's starting to cool off. Mornings are getting a little cooler, so can you commute on this bike once it gets a little bit cooler? And with some good heated hand grips, and obviously wearing the right gear, absolutely. There's no reason why you couldn't commute on this bike once it gets a little cooler in the morning. Would I want to commute on it in 25, 30 degrees? No. There's no there's no wind protection. But could you commute on this bike in the 40s or 50s? Absolutely, without any issue. Mileage, we took this bike on the Smoky Mountain 500, and that was a lot of low speed, second gear, a lot of first gear riding. And even then, we still got over 50 miles per gallon. So I imagine just with some interstate cruising like this, I don't see a reason why 55, 60 miles per gallon would not be attainable. Now the ride is rough. I mean, there's very little give with the suspension. So if you've got a really bumpy commute, this might not be the bike for you. But otherwise, I mean, just on smooth, asphalt like this is just fine. But yeah, once you hit the bumpy stuff, it tends to get a little more jarring would be a good term. Storage, I'm wearing a backpack right now. I've got all my camera gear in it because, like I said, I'm going to go film a first ride and review. But I've got a unit garage, a bag, canvas saddle bag, just one, and that's mainly for. I mean, it'll carry some stuff, but it's just as much for aesthetics than it is anything else. I just think the stuff at Unit Garage is just absolutely badass, and it just looks as cool as it can be. So it'll carry a ball cap, maybe a toolkit, a couple other things, but nothing crazy. So again, we're going 75 miles an hour. This bike, even with the Unit Garage risers on there, I'm not in a 90-degree position. I'm in maybe an 80 to 85 degree position. So I do have a little bit of lean to me. So this air hitting me in the chest actually, helps to kind of hold me up. I'm not fighting to lean over. I'm not fighting, leaning backwards. It's actually a pretty comfortable seating position, even though, I'm not, no issues with the wind at all. So just cruising along. Again, like I said, these bikes here, long maintenance intervals, just dead reliable oil head, engines. There's no reason why you couldn't use this bike as a commuter day in and day out in North and South Carolina 9 to 10 months out of the year. There's no reason whatsoever. And you'd be the coolest looking one on the road. Get you a cool leather, Rolling Sands leather jacket like this, maybe some chaps for when it gets cold, and man, you'd be the coolest one out there on the road. So to answer the question, can this bike commute? The answer is absolutely. So we're going to shut it off there. Actually, I need to save my battery and whatnot. So we'll stop it there. So thank you guys for watching. If you see anything that you like, comment on the videos, and the ultimate compliment is to subscribe to the channel. Every time I get a subscription, I truly actually celebrate and get a little fist bump. Yeah, hell yeah. So again, thank you guys for watching. God bless. Roll Tide, and remember, tomorrow needs you. Thanks, guys.